Hey friends, I'm Tedros Masresha. Today I want to talk to you about how to actually get noticed at work, especially if, like me, you are a diaspora professional or you are a professional. You're working hard, you're doing everything that's asked of you, you meet your deadlines, you keep the wheels running, you even put in extra effort, and yet your career still feels stuck and no one seems to notice. If that's how you feel, I want you to know that it's not always because you're not capable, it's because you might be playing by the same rule book as everyone else, the rule book of the typical professionals. But there is another way. There is a group of professionals who get noticed regardless of how hard or how much they work. You probably have seen that they get attention, they're trusted with big responsibilities, and they move forward faster than everyone else. I will tell you the secret how these people get attention and get what they want. I'm calling these people in this video the impact players. I got the name from the book called Impact Players by Liz Wiseman, a great book to read, by the way. Liz did a research of these impact players and what makes them different. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to become an impact player, get noticed, and be in the front line for the next version of you. What I'm going to tell you is a combination of Liz's research, my own experience in a corporate world, and from the result of applying the success principles I learned from Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, and many others. I started working as a forester cleaning forests for $20 a day. Imagine waking up before the sun rises, putting on your boots, feeling the cold morning air that bites your skin. It was a long and hard day. There were no fancy title, no big office, just me and my colleague and the trees, just for $20 a day. This is where my journey started and where I learned a powerful lesson. Hard work alone is not enough. And over the years, I've worked my way into leadership, guiding teams and driving results at organizational level. I understand many of us work hard and we do our best, but there is a secret these impact players know, a way to stand out, a way to get noticed and get promoted faster. This video is about to show you how the impact players think and how they respond in certain situations and how they show up on every single day. Back in 2017 in my ex-company, I was handpicked for a high impact, 3-month assignment, and they paid me an extra $40K on top of my regular paycheck. Think about that. That's over $20,000 a month while still getting my normal paycheck. Not bad for someone who started at just $20 a day as a forester. That's what happened when you are an impact player. But I'm not saying this will happen every time. But as they say it, luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. What I'm saying is you get noticed when things are tough. You don't wait for orders. You take ownership and you act every single time. How you show up every day is determined by how you respond to situations, and how you respond is birthed from how you think. Stick with me until the end because I will show you 5 ways what these people do to excel. And at the end, I will give you one more bonus that will blow your mind. And if you implement it, you will see how fast it will make you indispensable. But before we go into the details, what exactly is an impact player? Impact player, according to Liz, are professionals who thrive in every situation, even when things around them are uncertain or difficult. They can be placed in completely different roles or responsibilities and they still find success. Because their value is not limited to one specific job description. They do not just focus on themselves or their own tasks only. Their focus is on what value they give to the organization. You know, once you're in, the point is not about you. It's about what you can deliver. And what you can deliver not based on what you want, it's about what the organization wants and how you can contribute to it. The impact players bring purpose and passion to their work. They make the entire team stronger. That's how they are being identified. They're not complainers. They are there for impact. They focus on what matters most for the organization and for their leaders. They build trust because they can be counted on. They get the job done without constant supervision. They are valued not just for their skill or experience, but for their ability to make work either for them, for their manager, and for the entire team. Now, ask yourself this question. When you go to work, are you focused only on your assigned task, completing tasks, or do you think about how you can help the organization succeed? That is the question that separates typical professionals from impact players. Typical professionals think about their success. They think about them. They think me, me, me. In contrary, impact players think about the impact they bring on them and on the others. This is the big difference between the two. Look, you can't really receive without first giving. You must give before you can receive. Think about this for a moment. Imagine you, one person, giving something you have, example, your time, your knowledge, or your effort, to 10 different people. Now picture each of those 10 people giving something back to you in return. Suddenly you are receiving 10 times what you originally gave. You 10x your output. This is how life works. This is how careers grow. Impact players understand this. What they receive is never about luck or chance. It's the natural return on the value they have already given to others. It's what they earned. When you focus on adding value to others first, the reward will come, and they will come multiplied. According to Liz, there are 3 categories of professionals and workplace. The first group is high impact players. These people constantly deliver work of exceptional value and impact. The second group is what she calls typical contributors. They do good and solid work. They're capable and reliable, but their work often goes unnoticed because it blends in with everyone else. Then there is the third group, the under contributors. These are people who have the talent, but they are playing below their full capacity. They might be working hard, but they are focusing on the wrong things, and they end up delivering less value than they could. The reality is that most people are typical contributors. They are good employees, but they don't stand out. They check in and they check out on time. They just do only what they are told to do. And if what they are told is outside of their job description, and especially it is chaotic situation, they tend to say, but this is not what I'm hired for, and they push back systematically or directly. But if you want to receive, you first have to give. Impact players, in contrary, think and act differently, and that's why their career tend to accelerate faster than the rest. So to become an impact player, it needs a mental shift. This is not just about talent or hard work. Impact players play a mental game that makes them stand out. It's what and how they think that makes them different. When problem comes, they see it as an opportunity, not as a distraction. They focus on solution, providing value, not blaming and passively waiting for instructions. And most importantly, they believe they can improve and grow no matter the situation. Think about the last time things suddenly change at work. Maybe priority shift, or maybe a new leader, or unexpected problem appear. How did you respond? Most people freeze, or they feel frustrated because they don't know what to do. Impact players see that situation as a chance to add value. Instead of saying, I just wait and see what is going to happen, they feel they need to do something to settle the situation. Because they wear what is called opportunity lens. When there is a problem, they don't hide from it. They don't pretend it's someone else's job. They dive into the chaos. They believe problems are not distraction from their job. They think problems are their job. They ask themselves, what needs to be done right now? How can I make progress? Where can I be most useful? So this mindset makes them incredibly valuable because organizations are always facing challenge, and impact players run toward those challenges instead of away from them. So ask yourself, do you see challenge at work as interruption, or do you see them as opportunity to add value? Now, let's go deeper into the 5 key behaviors that set impact players apart according to Liz's research. The first is that impact players do the job that needs to be done. Typical contributors focus only on their assigned tasks. They stick to their job description, very obedient to the job description. They complete the list of duties they were given. Impact players, however, focus on the big picture. They constantly ask themselves, what does the organization need most right now? They look for unmet needs and step into them without waiting to be told. This is how they build reputation as someone who is flexible, adaptable, and indispensable. Doing only what is on your job description will not make you stand out. Impact players are willing to step into the gaps and help where they are most needed while doing their own jobs. They have a culture of flexibility. They are flexible. The second behavior is that impact players know how to step up and step back. When things are unclear, The typical players wait for instruction. Impact players do the opposite. They step up and lead when there is a gap in leadership. Or when they see things are not working as they're supposed to work, they do not wait for someone to tell them what to do. They don't just stick there. They roll up their sleeves and take initiative to get things done. But here is the difference. When the situation is under control, or when someone else is better suited as lead, they step back and follow with the same energy. This ability to both lead and to follow creates a culture of courage and agility. They don't start for the position, they stand for a solution or for an impact. They understand that leadership is not about a title or position, leadership is about making an impact. The third behavior is that impact players finish stronger. They don't just start tasks and complete them halfway. They take full ownership and they push through the finish line even when things get harder. Typical professionals often escalate every problem to their managers, or they stop when the work gets difficult. They're accustomed to get direction, ask questions, and stack if there is no problem. Well, it is okay to ask questions. It is only not okay if you're stuck waiting for response and you're not able to propose solution and drive it. Impact players hold themselves accountable for the result. They don't need constant supervision. They do the job. And they don't disappear when things become challenging. This builds a culture of accountability. And when your reader knows you will finish what you start, they trust you with bigger opportunities. The fourth behavior is that impact players know how to ask and how to adjust. They adapt quickly to change because they don't see change as a threat for them. Change is not easy for a typical professional. The learning curve to the new situation takes them longer. But impact players see it as an opportunity to grow. They regularly ask questions, what can I do? Or what do I need to adjust? They're open to feedback and they are willing to change their approach when needed. This behavior strengthens the culture of learning and innovation. While others resist change and stick the old way, impact players learn and evolve. This makes them future-proof because they are always relevant. The fifth and final behavior before the bonus tip is that impact players make work light. I love to work with impact players. First, they find a way to make the hard work easier for them. Then, they make the hard work easier for everyone around them. They bring positive attitude. They don't complain. They don't grumble. They look for the next problem to solve. In all this, they are also collaborative and helpful. In contrast, typical players often add to the burden when things get tough. They complain and they are drama queens. Impact players, they collaborate and their collaboration is based on helping solve problems. They reduce the stress from others instead of adding to it. Now, finally, the bonus tip. Now that you have watched until now, it means you are serious to make a difference in your life or in your organization. So here is the golden nugget that makes impact players stand out. It is their ability to understand the unwritten rules of the workplace. They know their responsibility very good, but then they figure out what the organization true value is too. Every leader value is different, but where they have the same thing is that they want team members who make their job easier. Team members who think for themselves and who can solve problems without being constantly reminded. When you understand this and deliver on what your organization really needs, you build enormous trust and credibility. And here is why that matters. Trust leads to mentoring, visibility, and faster promotions. Impact players consistently earn more opportunities because they are self-managing, because they solve problems, and they are dependable. This is not about doing extra work for no reasons. It is about making sure the work you do hits the target every single day. So let's recap. Impact players do the job that needs to be done. They step up and step back depending on the situation. They finish stronger instead of stalling out when things get tough. They ask and adjust, so they are always learning and improving, and they make work light. And fifth, they create a positive and collaborative environment for everyone around them. They do all this while wearing opportunity lens. Now ask yourself, which of these 5 behaviors do you need to focus on first? This week, choose one situation at work where you will act differently. Small shift leads to big results over time. You don't have to be the smartest or the most experienced person in the room. You just have to decide how to show up differently. and watch how your career begins to accelerate. If this helped you, share it with other passionate professionals, friends or colleagues who needs it. Now, be the impact player in your own story, hit the subscribe button, and let's grow together.